Hey guys, I feel weird even doing an intro right now. I guess welcome back. I am seriously, I'm horrified. I am so upset. I'm so sad right now. As you, I'm sure, already saw from the title and the thumbnail, the it seems as though the remains of Mia, 19 years old, Miya Marcano were found. And I don't know what to even think. I am seriously horrified. Seriously horrified. Um, I mean, I have no words. No words at all for this tragedy. Like I have quite literally been saying this whole time. I'm gonna talk about Mia Marcano. I'm gonna talk about Mia Marcano. I hadn't had time to do anything. Like I'd already been preparing and I had a whole thing of notes like on paper, like notes about her case and the timeline and everything else. And like now here we are. I've been saying for days on live stream Saturday, I'm going to come on. I'm going to talk about the entire timeline. Mia deserves her own full video. I'm not going to just lump it in with the Gabby stuff. Like, she deserves her own full timeline video and everything. And we need to signal boost Mia's case and everything else. And now I literally sat down a few minutes ago and I was like, all right, it's time. I had to get stuff done this morning, and I was like, all right, it's time to sit down. Let me finish collecting my thoughts on Mia's case. Let me finish collecting all of the timeline stuff. Let me finish understanding everything, and we can start talking about her case. And I really wanted uh to, was everybody, we were all hoping that she was gonna be found alive. And then now all of a sudden I finally get the time to look, and as soon as I open Google, it's like Marcano remains found. Looks like it's her. It's matching the description. The police are giving condolences. Like I, I'm horrified, and I'm even more horrified because the only person that they thought it could have been killed themselves. Like, how, where do you even go from here? And like, I have seen, sorry, I have seen like so many videos, especially from Mia's aunt, about this, saying, I know in my heart she's alive. I know in my heart she's alive. I know she's alive. I know she's out there. We need to find her. And like, to go from seeing all of that and now, hoping just as much as her aunt and believing, that she would be alive and we could find her and, we could have a happy ending. But here we are, and it looks like her remains were found. And the police seem very confident because they're already giving their condolences. Like, I, I'm seriously, it was like a punch to the gut, and I can't even imagine how her family must be feeling. And I am so sorry. I'm literally so sorry for her family. This is horrible. She was 19 years old. 19 years old. Like, I can't help but to think back and be like, I grew up in South Florida just like she did. She went and she moved to Orlando to go to Valencia College, which is right outside, like right in Orlando, very close by to UCF. She was living a mile down the road from UCF. Like, you trust that your child is going to go to college, and there's nothing against the college at all. Like, obviously, like, the college, that had nothing to do with this, but like, you hope for the best for your child when they leave. And like, I remember when I was 19, that wasn't very long ago, it was a few years ago, when I was like 18 years old and I was leaving for college. And to see this now and like for her to like have gone missing and now to be like to wind up dead. And like this isn't my first time like seeing this in the Florida area. Like I remember when I was in high school, I was a freshman, and one of the people who had just graduated from my school, it was a very big case, Christian Aguilar, if you guys ever saw that, it was a huge case in South Florida. He had left to go to college at UF in Florida in Gainesville, and all of a sudden he wound up missing and he was dead. Like his roommate killed him, and I was like friends with like his brother. Like I was in a class with his brother. We all worked on the yearbook staff together. Like, and it was so fucked up. Like the whole case, and it's just like reminding me of that, and it's reminding me of so many things, and it's just like horrible. Like 19, like I'm 23 now. Like I'm about to be 24 in a couple days. I remember what I was feeling at 19. I remember how it was. I remember that I was, exploring, and I was just starting to go to college. I was just in my freshman year and I had just moved out and I'm getting this independence and I'm meeting so many new people and I'm discovering so much about myself, and like you are just like so early in your life. Like, and this is like the perspective people get like not even 5 years later, just like a handful of years later, I can see this perspective of where I was at 19. And I remember how excited I was to be 19 and to have all these new experiences and to be independent and move somewhere different and see different perspectives, and like she had her whole entire life ahead of her. In her entire life. Like, and somebody ripped that away from her. Again, I'm not going to accuse anybody on here, but with the evidence that was found at her house, it stands to prove that somebody did this to her. Why would they find blood in her bed, on her pillow, and somebody got into her house, and also the evidence if somebody didn't take her? It's literally, I'm horrified. I'm horrified beyond belief that this happened. And I think so many of us were holding out hope on this one that it's just worse. All right. Let's watch what the sheriff has to say and what Orange County Sheriff's Office has to say about this whole thing. I will be right back. So this is the tweet that the Orange County Sheriff's Department put out. Sorry, I had to go get my earbuds so that I don't blast you guys with double the sound. Oh man, this is gonna die on me. Just 1 second, guys. So it's connected. So
today. Earlier.
Okay. So we're gonna restart this. Here's the tweet from Orange County Sheriff's Office. A body. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm out of the frame. A body believed to be Miya Marcano's has been discovered. OCSO detectives have notified Mia's parents of this tragic news. Sheriff John, Miya, and the men and women of the Orange County Sheriff's Office extend our deepest condolences to Mia's family, friends, and loved ones. I seriously feel so fucked up.
So, good afternoon. Obviously, this is not the update that I wanted to give to everyone today. Earlier today, the Orange County Sheriff's Office emergency response team was searching the area of Timber Scan Apartments that's off of South Texas Avenue in Orange County. And that's when they discovered a body we believe to be that of Miya Marcano. About an hour ago, South Texas Avenue in Orange County. And that's
Wait.
today. Earlier today, the Orange County Sheriff's Office emergency response team was searching the area of Timber Scan Apartments that's off of South Texas Avenue in Orange County. And that's when they discovered a body we believe to be that of Miya
How
Marcano.
far is that from her
About an
apartment?
hour ago, detectives notified Mia's parents of our tragic news. Our hearts are broken. I told you Thursday that hundreds of Orange County Sheriff's Office personnel were committed to this case and working very hard. Everyone wanted this outcome to be different. So, why were we at Timber Scan Apartments? So, cell phone records showed us that Caballero was in or near the Timber Scan Apartments on Friday evening between 8 and 9 o'clock. That's the evening that she was reported missing. And he was there for about 20 minutes. Nothing in the records indicate that he ever returned there prior to killing himself. So we sent search teams out first thing this morning. That's when they found what we believe to be Miya. And although we are very certain of the identity, the positive identification will have to come from the medical examiner's office. At this time, we cannot identify a cause of death, so I don't want to speculate on that. The most important thing right now is that unfortunately we have found what we believe to be the remains of Miya. So I know many of you were in New Smyrna Beach yesterday as we were there for a day and a half. And the reason we were so focused on that area is because, again, cell phone records directed us to that area and indicate the most activity in New Smyrna Beach. In fact, he was there Saturday morning of the 25th between 3 and 4 a.m. for about an hour in that area. So that's why we were there for so long and focused a lot of our efforts there. As a community, as a sheriff, as a father, obviously we are grieving the loss of Miya. Again, we can't imagine the pain and anguish that Miya's parents, their family, the loved ones, and the friends, and really our entire community have gone through and will
No.
continue to go through.
Can you guys hear me? Hopefully. Can you guys hear me? Test, test, test. Seems like you guys can, so. Oh my God, this is so messed up, guys.
On behalf of the men and women of the Orange County Sheriff's Office, we offer our deepest condolences to Mia's parents, her family, and our loved ones. So I'll take some questions at this time.
I'm literally speechless right now. I don't even know what to say at this point. Let me see if the Orange County Sheriff's Department has said anything else. Have you guys seen any other statements or anything? Because I'm is this the full update? Okay. Looks like this is the other update that's unless it's not a video, I'm confused. What is happening? Come on. All right, let's watch this together.
There, prior detectives noted
That's so weird. Why was it saying that for so long?
earlier today, the Orange County Sheriff's Office emergency response team was searching the area of Timber Scan Apartments that's off of South Texas Avenue in Orange County. And that's when they discovered a body we believe to be that of Miya Marcano. About an hour ago, detectives notified Mia's parents of our tragic news. Our hearts are broken. I told you Thursday that hundreds of Orange County Sheriff's Office personnel were committed to this case and working very hard. Everyone wanted this outcome to be different. So why were we at Timber Scan Apartments? So cell phone records showed us that Caballero was in or near the Timber Scan Apartments on Friday evening between 8 and 9 o'clock.
So to me, it's sounding like listening to this again and being able to process it because this is like a lot. Um, it seems like the only real person of interest in this case as to who it, you know, assuming that it was a homicide, which hasn't been ruled, the only suspect is Caballero. And if it was him, any answers died with him. And that is just horrific. Like what the heck was his motive if this is a homicide? What would his motive be to kill her? He wanted to be with her. It was said, and I will find that. Um, sorry, one of my friends is messaging me about it because they're really upset and they've been following this case too, just as I've been. And I don't know about you guys out there, but I am in serious disbelief about this whole situation. Um, but so it was documented. It was documented that Miya, let me put myself in a better screen so that we can talk a little better. It was documented that this guy, Caballero, was very into Miya and asked her out many times, and Miya rebuffed all of those attempts. So why would he do this to her? If he was in love with her or had a crush on her, like, and then to like go and kill yourself, like, oh my god. This is so fucked up. This is seriously so fucked up. All right, I'll keep playing the video.
That's the evening that she was reported missing. And he was there for about 20 minutes.
Danny, thank you for joining me. I was really hoping that you would join because then I wouldn't be the only one on here. And I would feel a little bit better about the situation, not in like a good way, but like a little less alone because I'm just like absolutely in disbelief right now. Like I don't even know what to think. I might as well put Danny's comment up, I guess. Danny said, "Yo, the goat has arrived." Thank you. OMG, this is so sad. It really is so sad. I'm I'm shook. Like I I don't even know what to think about this situation. I am horrified. Have you seen if you want me to rewind this, I'll rewind this. It says 11 minutes, but it's actually only like 2 minutes, like a minute and a half into it because the first 10 minutes are just the thing that says this live stream will start soon. Danny said, so give me updates. I've been watching football. I haven't checked on any updates. The update is that they found remains that seem to be Mia's at an apartment complex that I don't think it wasn't her complex and I don't think it was his complex because I believe that where tell me if I'm wrong, but um I believe that his apartment complex is where they found him, like where they found Caballero's body. Um but so they found her at a different complex, I believe. Hold on. I'm gonna look this up. Let's look this up real quick. Um Body found, not booty. Oh my god, come on. Um okay, here we go. Person of interest in her disappearance found dead. The dude was 27 fucking years old. I didn't know that. This man was hightailing it. I'm sorry I'm yelling, but this man was fucking hightailing it over a 19-year-old and he's 27. 20 fucking 7. For any of you guys who are above the age of 23, 24, you will understand how gross that is. That this scumbag who was 27 was going after a 19-year-old. This scumbag right here. There is no reason that this guy, let me point the right way, should have been going after a 19-year-old when he's 27. Disgusting. The mentality gap is huge between a 19-year-old and a 27-year-old. I don't have a problem with people having a date, like dating or being married with an age gap, but there are levels of
realities and understandings, and just that you cannot cross that border. That kind of an age difference between, a 40 and a 50-year-old, a 50 and a 60-year-old, 60, 70-year-old, that's fine. You're in the same circle of life. You're in the same circle of life. You've both, you've got your careers together, you're planning your older age together, you're thinking about retirement, you have your life set, and you are both in the same circle of understanding. A 19-year-old is still somebody who has a mentality of a high schooler. They are a teenager. A 27-year-old is somebody who should be getting their life together, cementing their career, understanding where their way in the world. You're going to be in a completely different mindset than somebody who's 19. That is gross. That's like somebody in high school dating somebody who's in elementary school. That's disgusting. This man is disgusting. How could you do that? I'm so mad. I am so mad. Danny popping in and saying, "I'm 34, but yes, that is just sick." Thank you, Danny. I am about to be 24, so you are 10 years my senior, but we can understand each other because we are both people who have finished schooling. That era of very young mentality has left. You are out of that. You are in the stage of your life when you are building your career, you're building your family. If you already have that, then you're cementing it. That's an appropriate friendship or any kind of relationship is that is an appropriate gap, an appropriate 10-year age gap because we are both in the same sphere of life. I, I, this is so angering. This is so angering. Denny said, yeah, he preyed on her because she was young and he could easily manipulate. 100%. 100%. And the problem is that most 19-year-old girls, especially girls, don't have the full ability to completely rebuff somebody who's doing this and don't understand all of the things that are available to them or where they can go or what they can do. If this dude was constantly harassing her and asking her out, she should have been going to the management. She should have been, and if they didn't do shit, she should have escalated it. But there are things that when you're 19, you don't know the process. You don't know how to defend yourself. You don't know where to go. A lot of times you don't want to tell your family about it because you don't want them worrying about you or causing an issue. And, maybe, and at 19, most people wouldn't know what to do. I know I've had to step up for my friends when they were having some creeper and been like, no, we need to go to the cops. No, we need to report this. But a lot of people don't have the wherewithal at 19 to figure that out. They just don't have the life experience. And that's when these people fucking prey on them. And I'm so angry right now. Like, I usually try to stay really level headed in these streams, but this is so angering right now. Like, I was already so upset about her body being found. And then to realize that this dude was 20 fucking 7 years old is horrendous. It's just horrendous. Oh my god. Yeah, so what was this? What the fuck? Okay, so sorry. I'm gonna back up and explain what was going on. I'm sorry. I hope I'm like not bursting anybody's eardrum. I'm just so mad. I'm just so mad. Um, so this dude here, they're saying he was found at this Sabal Club Apartments. Her apartments were Arden Villa, and where they found her was a completely different name. Completely different name. I'm gonna double check that. What the name was again. I'm gonna listen to it again. Hold on 1 second. They found her at the Timber Scan Apartments, like her body. His apartments where they found him were the Sabal Club apartments. Hers was the Arden Villa. What the fuck was this guy doing at this Timber Scan Apartments? Literally, what the fuck? So the timeline of events right now with regards to um this whole situation as to her finding the her body being found, what they're saying is that they found her at these timber scan apartments, and the reason that they figured it out is because they checked Caballeros, which is the guy that this this nasty piece of work, this guy, let's get it to work. This guy, Jesus Christ, which way? I can't tell. This guy over here, right there, that's the guy who's been the number one suspect this whole time. They checked his phone records and they found out that his stuff was pinged at this timber scan apartment. And so that's when they started to look at this timber scan apartment today. He was only there Friday night at 8, from 8 to 9. And then he went home. And then they found her body there. Um so that's what the official release of statement is. They officially told her family about an hour and a half ago now what happened, and then like an hour after telling the family, they went on and they were making that statement that I was showing you guys on Twitter. Danny says, how far apart are these apartments? Um, that is a good question. I'm also very curious is as if no no no. I'm very curious if these timber scan apartments were very had like a very wooded area behind them or something like that. So let's find out. I'm literally I seriously can't believe this shit. Can we not? Tweet. No, nobody told you that. Jesus Christ. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Football Club Apartments. All right. Directions. Arden Villas Apartments. That's pretty fucking far. Well, I guess it's not probably not that far. It's just the traffic. There's a lot of traffic in that area all the time. And then his actually, this should be. Let's put that there. And let's put what is it? The timber. Let me double check. Hold on. I'm literally in such disbelief right now. What a weird ass name. It's TYM. Timber. I'm gonna guess it's this. Come on. Okay, so from her house, 1 second, let me just move this away. you can hopefully see this better. All right, so this is the drive from her place to the place that they found her. They found her really into this, like into the city. That is so weird. They found her like she was on the outskirts. Like it would make more sense to me for her to end up being found in the woods somewhere over here, not in the middle of the damn city. How did they miss this for so long? Like, what the fuck? Okay, it looks like I guess there is like wooded areas. Like, look at how close it is to Universal Studios. Like, that's insane. That's insane. It's literally right down the road. I've probably been past this apartment complex like a billion times going to Universal. This is literally insane. All right, and then from his house to, or from that place to his house. It's all the way in the other direction. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, that makes no sense. Why? Just why? What was at the Timber Scan Apartments? Truly, what was at the Timber Scan Apartments that she ended up there? I don't why did it do that? No, come on. Because 'Cause they're completely different areas. They're all completely different areas. No worries, Danny, it's all good. Um, Whenever you can pop in, I appreciate it. But just like, what? Is anybody else just incredibly disturbed by this? And what what we're talking here based on a lot of assumptions. I try really hard typically to, you know, assume innocent until proven guilty. I'm not saying that this guy is necessarily guilty. I'm not. Only a court of law can prove whether he's innocent or not. But this doesn't look good. And why would he be there at the same time? But either way, what was at the Timber Scan Apartments that and why is it that her body was found there out of anywhere that it could have been? It could have been at her apartment complex. It could have been at his apartment complex. It could have been literally anywhere. It could have been in the woods, in the opposite direction. In the opposite direction. Why there? Why here? I'm just flabbergasted. My earbuds are gonna die on me again. All right, hold on. Let me just double check to make sure these are working. Oh, the joys of the streaming and dying. I don't want to see dying. I'm sorry, that was really insensitive, but I'm just exhausted and I'm horrified. I just don't understand. Like, for what? For why? For what? For why? Like, the only thing I can think of is if I can't have you, nobody else can have you. I'm just just horrified. Um Come on. All right, let's look at this. This is like the first article that popped up was the CNN article. I'm not trying to say anything about CNN or Fox News or anybody else. I'm not saying anything about political anything. It was just the first article that came up. Um, so this is awful. So yeah. So it said um that authorities believe that Caballero had accessed her apartment without her permission. And an arrest warrant, I didn't know that part, that an arrest warrant had been issued for him for burglary. Danny is back. Welcome back. I've just been talking about how horrified I am and that I don't understand what would lead. I mean, I have theories as to what might have happened, but I don't understand how this particular apartment complex fits into all of this. And it's so frustrating because at the end of the day, pretty solidly, the truth died with Caballero as to what the fuck happened. Um, Come on. So, like I was saying, they found cell phone records, come on, indicating that this guy who was a person of interest and also had a warrant for his fucking arrest for burglary was in or near the apartments for about 20 minutes. I'm wondering if this was just convenience at this point. Like maybe he's been to these apartments before, assuming in this scenario that he was the one that did it, not gonna say that anybody did it for sure or that anybody was for sure guilty in this. But assuming that Caballero was the one that did it, was this just purely like convenience? Purely get it far, somewhere in the middle, but kind of far away? I don't know. I'm not him, so I don't know. It just sucks that it's like you really hope for, I mean, just like the police, I don't know if that was the sheriff, I don't remember. But like you said, was looking for, this is not the outcome we were all hoping for. And I think we were all hoping, especially with like in the wake of the Gabby Petito case that we've been covering so ardently, to have a happy ending for this. That she came back and she was back with her family, and whoever did something bad to her would be behind bars and all's well that ends well. And you know I think we were all really hoping for that right now, and to find out that this happened is just devastating. I just cannot believe it. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts, feelings, or opinions on this thing? Because I'm just flabbergasted. I, how did nobody? Where was she? Where? I have so many questions. Where was her body? How did nobody figure it out? Was it just not long enough? Was it far, like long enough time for somebody to notice? All right, I'm gonna pull up the timeline so we can kind of talk about it. Oh my God. I literally can't believe this. Dude, literally last night, more than 100 people gathered vigil for her on the 7th day of her disappearance. They were literally having vigils every single day. Um, Danny said, so we should know the cause of death in a few days maybe? I don't know. I mean, based on based on what it seems like the general quotes are for a full autopsy to happen being 2 to 3 weeks, it's possible that we know a general, like, whether it was homicide or not, essentially, in a few days if they end up following suit to the Gabby case and what they did, that they very quickly turned it around and said, this was a homicide, but they didn't give any more details. It's possible that we find something out in a couple days. Um, but I don't know what the capacity is, who would be performing the autopsy, what would be happening, what constraints are on. I mean, Orlando is like a very, very populated area. There's so much stuff happening in there all the time. So I don't know how much more strain they have here or how much more personnel they have here versus like, over by Grand Teton. Like it's such a different area, so I don't know. I hope that in the next few days we find out at least, was it a homicide or not? Just at least to get confirmation. And oh my God, I feel so bad for her family. This is awful. I mean, so many people were out every day. I mean, like I said, more than 100 people gathered for vigil last night. Um, I'm guessing your name is T because it's oh snap, it's T. Welcome. So T said, so sad. It really is. I don't know about you if you've been watching the Gabby Petito case. I know a lot of us have. Um, but I think we were all hoping for, I guess, a miracle in this case, and I think a lot of us um were hoping for a better outcome than we did with the Gabby case. And this is just so messed up and so sad. Um, all right. This is the most up to date timeline of Gabby's case. I don't think they've put in the stuff yet about what was found out today. This is so messed up. Thank you guys for joining me, by the way. I don't know about you guys, but I am not having a good time with this. It's really horrifying. Oh, I guess they did update it today for what the sheriff said. Did they have like a all right. Here's the full timeline of everything for this case. This is what I was gonna work on today. I was literally getting ready to work on the timeline more, getting all the facts for you guys together, um, and just figuring everything out so that I can present it to you guys and we can, signal boost this and put a spotlight on everything and hopefully help bring more people into the fold and that kind of a thing. And then like I literally log on and it's like, s- you know, 13 minutes ago, not Gabby, Jesus Christ, Mia's body was found, and I'm like, what the heck, what the heck? And then I immediately jumped on. I don't know if that worked. Show that work? I can't tell. Okay. It's all good, Danny. I will see you soon. T said, yes, been following them all. This is devastating. Too much going on around the country. I know. And it's the sad thing is like this is happening every single day. Like, this exact thing is happening to hundreds of people a day in this country alone, and we wouldn't be hearing about these things right now if Gabby's case wouldn't have blown up the way that it did. And so I hope that people will kind of stand in the same, thoughts and forward momentum, I guess, that I'm doing, and I'm personally gonna continue talking about more missing persons cases because I think people deserve to have, you know, the spotlight on them, and um more people's cases deserve to have the care and attention that these cases are getting. So hopefully that's something that this country will learn. But I literally did the math and it was 1,500 people a day last year alone in the US went missing on average. The exact calculation when I divided out per day was 1,476 people went missing a day in 2020. And that's with a pandemic. That's with a freaking pandemic happening where so many of us were locked inside our houses and that many people still went missing. T said they all need a voice. I agree. Yeah, it's thank you, T. And again, welcome to the chat and the stream. Um, so many people need a voice. And I have to wonder if Mia's case didn't blow up, obviously it didn't blow up to the level that Gabby's has, which is a shame. Um, but her case has blown up. She has an incredible, loving family. I mean, I saw her aunt every single day out there, every single day, being the face for the family, taking up that's a heavy fucking burden to have to take the face of the family, especially in a situation like this. And she was out there every day saying, "We're gonna find Miya. I know in my heart she's alive. We're gonna find her. We're gonna find her." Being the front for the vigils every single day, putting that together in the search efforts. Mia's very, very lucky that she was able to have the family that she had. And I know that her case will not go down in vain, I hope. And people will continue to fight for the truth to come out and for justice to happen on her case. So many people don't have this behind them. And it's horrifying that this happened. I'm just in disbelief. But so I figured we should talk a little bit about the timeline, about everything that's happened, um and hopefully we can kind of wrap this up a little bit and continue talking about her and her case because she deserves it. No matter no matter if somebody is, just missing or that missing person comes up dead or alive, they still deserve to have their case, their day in court, and to have it prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And, if it was foul play and just horrifying. So, the timeline's been up this whole time that I've been on my mini rant, I guess. So Friday, September 24th at 3 p.m. was the last time that Caballero, when he gave his original statement to police, told deputies that he saw Miya. He worked as a maintenance worker at her apartment complex that she lived and also worked at. Um, he at that time was not considered a person of interest when the investigators first spoke to him. At 4:30 p.m., a maintenance master key fob was used to enter Mia's apartment at the apartment complex. Caballero was known to have access to a master key fob, according to investigators. This is 30 minutes before Marcano would end her shift at the apartment complex. 5 p.m. is when she was last seen when she was leaving her shift at the leasing office. At 10:30, she was supposed to be on a flight home to Fort Lauderdale, and she missed it. The 25th, the sheriff's office relieved a missing persons bulletin, which was this one that I've seen so many times before. Crystal is back. Thank you for joining us. Hello, welcome. We're talking about Miya Marcano. We're going through the timeline. I seriously can't believe this happened. For the update, her body was just found in a completely unrelated apartment complex. And the reason that they found her body is because the person of interest, Caballero, his phone was pinged at this apartment complex for about 20 minutes around between 8 to 9 p.m. that Friday that she went missing. Crystal said, such a sad story. I know. I immediately came on because I was in the middle of I just sat down to research the story because I wanted to give her the full spotlight that we talked about. Remember on Thursday, I wanted to give her her own stream, her full spotlight, full breakdown of her case, and I was going to finish my research on that, and I log on, and it had just been announced. It was 13 or 18 minutes before. So this was her missing persons bulletin that was put out by the sheriff's office in Orlando. Orange County is Orlando. The 26th, the helicopters were flying over the wooded area searching behind her apartments at 4 p.m. and then at 6 p.m. her family gathered for a vigil. The 27th at 10:23 a.m. the Seminole County deputies discovered Caballero dead from an apparent suicide. And deputies had been searching for him throughout the weekend and had a search warrant for his arrest on a burglary charge based on the information that the maintenance master key fob had been used to enter her apartment. Nobody's talking about in this. Hold on. I want to find where they talk about her room. Because I know that I read somewhere that here it is. I'm going to pull this up just for a second and then I'll come back to the timeline. This is something that bothers me and I know has been bothering a lot of people is the way that her room was found. And I don't see them talking about this. Blood signs of struggle were found inside of her apartment. Come on. The family of the missing 19-year-old revealed new details on Tuesday concerning signs of a struggle inside of her apartment. One of Marcano's cousins said the family is searching in Orlando and described how the family found the bedroom. They said there was jewelry on the ground, the bed was not made, and the room was, quote, in disarray, and it looked like there had been a struggle. The cousin said that Marcano's family had always been clean and the room was meticulous. Family members added that blood had been found in the area. The person of interest was found dead on Monday. Marcano Caballero was determined to be a person of interest after Marcano was declared missing. His vehicle was found near the scene of his death and had been taken in for evidence. I didn't remember that part. Yeah, literally what I've been saying. If he knew anything, he took that information with him. It's horrible. It's true what Crystal said. This is such a sad story. Oh my God. Um, but yeah, look, see, this is the part that kills me. The other part, the three parts that kill me: the way that they found her room, the fact that this man, the Orange County Sheriff, said Caballero expressed a romantic interest in Marcano, which was repeatedly denied by the teenager. I had a bit of a scream earlier because it turns out that this man was 27 years old and was hounding a 19-year-old to date him. 19, 27. That's not okay. First of all, it's not okay to hound anybody to go out with you. Period. End of story. Doesn't matter what ages you are. If somebody says no, it's no. If somebody doesn't want to go out with you, do not continue to persist to get them to go out with you, because there's a lot of people who do that, and that's gross. It's not okay. But it bothers me that she was a literal teenager and he was a literal man, literally 27. You should be figuring your life out. That's the stage that you should have your career, batched down. You're getting your family together, you're getting your life together. You're not in the same headspace as a 19-year-old who just started college. Not in the slightest. That's not kosher. Like I said earlier, that's like if a high schooler was dating an elementary schooler. That's not kosher. Like, oh my God, so aggravating. What is happening? Something just happened. Sorry, my computer, not even the streaming software all of a sudden just was like, nope. Um, so back to the Monday, which is when I started. Was it Monday? Yeah, I think Monday was when somebody had already told me Sunday, but Monday was when I really started looking into this case, and then I found out about him committing suicide. So 1 p.m., the sheriff postponed the media briefing, of course, understandably. At 3 p.m., he announced that the prime suspect is dead, and that the search continues. The car is brought into the search, brought in, like I said earlier. Tuesday at 10:08 in the morning, family and friends searched for Marcano. I remember watching this coverage where they were showing this. Okay, yeah, let me explain. Crystal just said, I'm confused about how far from her apartment was his body found, and he killed himself, right? So let me see if I have this still. Hopefully I do. 1 second. Here it is. Yes, I'm glad I still have this. So she was living at Arden Villas. He was living at Sabal Club Apartments. And where she was found was the Timber Scan condominium apartments, whatever the hell. Okay. So if you triangulate between the three of them, it would take about an hour to get from one place to another. From her apartments to his apartments were 32 minutes. I looked it up earlier. But so this is where, if you guys can see that, hopefully, right here where I'm waving my mouse, that's where her apartment was. His apartment was all the way up here, all the way by Wikiwachi Springs. If you guys know about that, there's the mermaids out there. Like there are people who dress as mermaids and they put on the show. It's really cute. Um, but completely different area, 30 minutes away. And this timber scan on the lake condominiums, completely different area too. So sorry, re-registering what your question was. Crystal is confused about how far from her apartment was his body found. and he killed himself. So they were found at his actual apartments where he was living, which was again like 35 minutes away, we'll say, make it a little easier. And yes, according to police, he killed himself. They found him in his apartment. Actually, I don't even think I remember at one point they were saying it was in a storage inside of his apartment, like inside of the apartment complex. So I will say generally they found him at his apartment complex and by a parent. The death was an apparent suicide, which was again 35 minutes away. But I'm very confused as to how we ended up, how, what, why does the timber scan apartments or condos or whatever the hell, how does this factor into this? Why did she end up there? Um, you're sweet, Crystal. Said thank you. You're so informative. I'm glad. Sorry, I'm my brain. I'm hoping I'm being informative and helpful. My brain is reeling right now. I'm not even gonna lie. So I feel like I'm a little bit all over the place because I usually that I try to be very calm, cool, and collected on my videos. Kind of get to the point on things. Probably circle around a few times to like help people get up to speed. Um, but today is not that day. Today is not the day of calm, cool, and collected. I was literally yelling earlier. Was not cute. But I'm glad that was informative and helpful. All right. Let me see. I'm gonna check that timeline again and see if they said on there. Why is this doing this? Okay, apparently it doesn't wanna work. No, we're not gonna go there. One second, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, here's the timeline. I want to see if on this timeline they say where they found him. Crystal just said LOL. Um, does it say on the timeline where exactly they found him? Come on. Let's see here. It was Monday that they found his body, so let's see. Okay, it doesn't say there. I know that they said that they found him in like a storage unit. What's his first name? Armando. Where was Armando? Let's go. Like Orlando seems like they have the most coverage of the situation. Come on. What? Wait a minute. How is nobody talking about this? Wait, whoa, whoa. Hold on. A police report provided, are you guys seeing this? A police report provided by the Seminole County Sheriff's Office reveals that the prime suspect in Mia's disappearance is no stranger to suspicious behavior. In March, Caballero was accused of throwing a weight through a woman's bedroom window after she turned him down for a date. The alleged incident happened on March 17th at his apartment complex. At his apartment complex. Are you fucking kidding me? I now understand. I now understand why the apartment complex all of a sudden was like, well, we put on like they put out a statement and they're like, well, we put a background check for everybody and nothing came out. We put out federal background checks and we give training against assault and abuse. They're covering their asses because he had this fucking bullshit that he did that he was accused of. They were covering their asses because he was accused about this. They probably found out when this whole thing happened. Oh shit, it's come out that he was accused of throwing a goddamn weight through a person's window because she turned him down. And they're like, well, let's cover our butts so we don't get sued for hiring him. Fuck y'all. Literally fuck that apartment complex. Crystal said, he sounds like a winner. Shaking my head. Yep. He really does sound like a total winner. Just a great guy. Oh, look. Here we go. More information. The young woman. How old do you want to guess that she was? I'm going to guess she was probably like 19. Oh, wait. 24. Of course. It's always going to be younger than him. The young woman said her apartment complex maintenance worker named Armando wrote her a note asking her out on a date. She initially agreed, but changed her mind after he requested to move the date up. The woman said soon after that a black weight was thrown through her bedroom window. The 24-year-old said she didn't see who threw it, but reported she believed it was Armando. Investigators did not confirm Armando's last name, but his fingerprints were found on the note given to the woman. However, investigators could not officially link Caballero to the incident. Investigators said they believed the individual responsible is Caballero. It is not clear how long he worked as a maintenance worker at Sabal Club Apartments. I just don't understand how people feel the entitlement. Because at the end of the day, if you are acting like this, it is because you believe that it is okay. And it is okay for you to do this. You feel entitled that if somebody just says, no, I don't want to go out with you, you are entitled to behave in rage and violence. Just because somebody turns you down does not give you the right to do any of this at all. At all. Yeah. Who knows what else this guy has done? Who knows? There might be a bunch of people who have not reported this because, again, he obviously was targeting people younger than him, i.e., A big reason people target people who are younger than them is in an attempt to manipulate them. And that's what this guy was potentially doing, was going after these young people, and these people who are potentially manipulate. I can't even say that word. I don't even know if that's a word now. But people who are able to be manipulative, being younger, the reason they're able to be manipulated is because they are younger and inexperienced. So these people don't know how to speak up for themselves necessarily, especially with how unfortunately young women or girls are taught to keep things to themselves and not say anything about it. They're not taught how to report things. They're not taught how to stand up for themselves. A lot of times they don't want to go to their family about these things because they don't want them to worry. And a lot of times their friends don't know how to do anything about it either because they weren't taught either. You're lucky if you have that one friend who maybe knows or sticks up for you. Again, like I said earlier in the stream, I've had friends who've had incredible creeps come after them, and I've had to yank them to the police station because they felt bad going to the police about it, as if it was a waste of time. And that was the only thing that remedied it because the police got involved. That was the only way the creep stopped coming. But these are the things that many people, honestly, regardless of gender, are not taught. They're not taught how to deal with these people. Because people, regardless if you're a man, a woman, whatever in between you want to identify as, a lot of people have had to deal with creepy people. People who are stalkers, who feel entitled to other people's bodies, to other people's beings. This man, fucking Caballero, which you are not. It's so angering to me that that's his goddamn last name because it just means something in Spanish. It's kind of like a gentleman. Caballero is like gentleman. Like when you say ladies and gentlemen, you say damas y caballeros. You are not a gentleman. You are the absolute fucking opposite. It's so enraging, his last name and this whole thing. It, like, you are not a fucking gentleman. You are the exact opposite. You are a piece of trash. But some people feel incredibly entitled to other people's bodies and beings in every way imaginable. You're not entitled to anything. Oh my god, it's so upsetting. And I think we've all gone through it at some point or another where people feel entitled to send you nasty messages, whether that be sexually explicit messages, sexually explicit photos, people who come after you if you rebuff them, if you and women, how many times have you been told, "Hey, let them down easy, make sure that you don't say anything wrong because you don't know what they're gonna do," and la 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 la. That's so fucked up that women and men and everybody in between feel the need to have to tiptoe to tell somebody, "Hey," and how many people lie about being, with somebody, having a partner, just to try to have an excuse, or even lie about their sexual orientation, just to have an excuse to rebuff somebody so that they leave them alone. Like, this is so angering, and it just plainly speaks to what so many people think is okay in our society. It plainly speaks to the dynamics between so many people. Again, and it doesn't matter if it's a guy and a girl, if the guy is the one who's being the stalker, the girl could be a stalker. It could be between two women, two men, two people of differing gender, the same gender, gender neutral, whatever gender you want to claim, doesn't matter. It could happen on either side of the coin. And some people are taught to stay down, and some people are taught that that is okay to do this stuff. And neither is okay. We should be teaching people how to stand up for themselves. We should be teaching people how to not act like this. You're not entitled to anything. You're not entitled to other people. It's just crazy. T said, "What a creep." Yeah, he's a fucking garbage person. Crystal said, "Poor Mia, she didn't want to go on a date with him." Like, also, I just realized I've been like on the side this whole time, but yeah, she just didn't want to go on a date with him. And potentially, we'll see what happens in court. Well, it's like, what? How does this even work though at this point, right? Like, if they're both dead, what happens? Does it still go to court? What did they go after his estate? But then what estate? He was 27 working 2 jobs as cleanup crew, maintenance worker, whatever. Couldn't think of the word. He was working a job as a maintenance worker. You're not gonna make much if you're a maintenance worker. What estate are they gonna go after? So what happens now? Literally what happens now? Actually, let's find out what happens now. What happens if a suspect dies before trial? Thank you. That's great. Thank you. Can we find like a Crystal said death means no court, no charges. I really hope not. There has gotta be something. Okay, let's see what these people have to say. I don't know where these people are from. You're gonna tell me your address somewhere on here? Okay, they're from California. Close enough. Um, Yanira just joined the chat. Welcome. I'm gonna assume you're she, her pronouns. Let me know what your pronouns are. Yanita finds it weird that she had her purse with her. I hadn't heard that. Where did you hear that? I would love to see where they said that, because the only thing I've seen so far is that she was just found. So I haven't heard any other news other than that. Oh, well, that's great. I'm not even Jesus. Sorry, guys. I'm like having a weird time right now with the stream software. There we go. Couldn't see anything before. This thing like just freaks out sometimes. There we go. What happens if a defendant dies before trial? This is an excellent question. The first thing to do is determine whether the claim survives death. This means that there are certain types of claims that are automatically dismissed when the defendant dies. The most common types of cases that are dismissed are ones seeking punitive damages as well as pain and suffering damages. Um, the logic behind that is if the defendant has passed, there is no future misconduct to prevent or individual punishment to inflict. I mean, yeah, it might just be a scenario where Crystal was welcoming Yanira, so that's sweet. I love when you guys welcome each other. It's so nice. Ah. Oh, I didn't finish seeing the press conference. I was trying sorry, I'm gonna put up Yanira's comment. Yanira said there was a press conference already from Sheriff. I don't think it was Manny. I think it was similar name. I think like that name was a little off. Stating her purse was found near her with her ID in it, which is why they are certain it's her, although they still have to wait for results. I didn't see that part. There was a section. Was that in the Q&A section? Let me go back to that because I was gonna play the whole thing and then we didn't end up playing the whole thing. Let me see. One second. No. Oh god, that's not what I was trying to I just wanna see their Orange County's thing. Come on. Because I watched the short version. I didn't get a chance I was starting to play the long version, and then we ended up moving on to other stuff. Um, that's the short version.
Their parents, their family.
Come on. Let's see. Where's the long version? Okay, here we go.
Obviously pain and there.
Alright. I'm gonna play the whole
Noon.
thing because we might as well.
Obviously, this is not the update that I wanted to give to everyone today.
Okay. Can you guys
Earlier
hear that? Let me
today, the
know.
Orange County Sheriff's Office emergency response team was searching the area of Timber Scan Apartments that's off of South Texas Avenue in Orange County, and that's when they discovered
Come on. I think my laptop is getting too hot. Alright, hold on. Let me restart this because I think there might be an issue. Oh man. This is messed up. I love when they say translate tweet or translate on like Instagram or whatever and like or YouTube and it's like I don't think YouTube does it, but it's funny when like a social media thing says translate this message and it's in English. Like there's nothing for you to translate. This should not be this difficult. All right, let's try this again. Sorry, guys. Is
It's
it
nothing in the
okay?
records in
There we go.
sheriff's office personnel.
Sorry, guys.
That's off of South Texas Avenue in Orange County. And that's when they discovered a body we believe to be that of Miya Marcano. About an hour ago, detectives notified Mia's parents.
Is it just gonna have to load until this is ridiculous? I'm sorry, guys. This stinks. I think it's just Twitter messing up at this point. If I can get it from my phone, then um I'll play it from my phone really quick. I'll just play the audio from my phone.
I wanted to give to everyone today. Earlier today, the Orange County Sheriff's Office Emergency Response Team was searching the area of Timber Scan Apartments that's off of South Texas Avenue in Orange County. And that's when they discovered a body we believe to be that of Miya Marcano. About an hour ago, detectives notified Mia's parents of our tragic news. Our hearts are broken. I told you Thursday that hundreds of Orange County Sheriff's Office personnel were committed to this case and working very hard. Everyone wanted this outcome to be different. So why were we at Timber Scan Apartments? So cell phone records showed us that Caballero was in or near the Timber Scan Apartments on Friday evening between 8 and 9 o'clock. That's the evening that she was reported missing. And he was there for about 20 minutes. Nothing in the records indicate that he ever returned there prior to killing himself. We sent search teams out first thing this morning. That's when they found what we believe to be Miya. And although we are very certain of the identity, the positive identification will have to come from the medical examiner's office. At this time, we cannot identify a cause of death, so I don't want to speculate on that. The most important thing right now is that unfortunately we have found what we believe to be the remains of Miya. So I know many of you were in New Smyrna Beach yesterday as we were there for a day and a half, and the reason we were so focused on that area is because, again, cell phone records directed us to that area and indicate the most activity in New Smyrna Beach. In fact, he was there Saturday morning of the 25th between 3 and 4 a.m. for about an hour in that area. So that's why we were there for so long and focused a lot of our efforts there. As a community, as a sheriff, as a father, obviously we are grieving the loss of Miya. Again, we can't imagine the pain and anguish that Miya's parents, the family, the loved ones, the friends, and really our entire community have gone through and will continue to go through. On behalf of the men and women in the Orange County Sheriff's Office,
it breaks my heart too. This is awful.
To Miya's parents, her family, our loved ones. So I'll take some questions at this time. Start again.
We have court records indicating that Caballero's family actually lived at Timber Scan at one point. Can you confirm?
Yeah, so that's what I'm being told, that he had lived in Timber Scan Apartments at one time.
Well, so long to get to that Timber Scan area when did that cell phone data come in?
Whoa. Okay, this is why he went to if we're assuming that he did it and we're assuming that it's a homicide in this scenario, this makes sense as to why he would go to Timberscan. This makes sense as to why he would go there because his family lived there. He probably grew up there. And so he felt comfortable because they just said that his family lived there and he lived there.
So the cell phone data came in for the phone a few days ago on Wednesday, and remember, we had asked for 6 months of cell phone data for Caballero, and that data put him all over Orange County, Seminole County, Volusia County. That night, he had
Jeez.
been in downtown Orlando. He had been in the Paramore area. Obviously, he'd been in both Orange County near the apartment complex, at the other apartment complex in Seminole County, and of course, Volusia County. And again, the reason we were so intense and focused on the New Smyrna Beach area was because he spent the longest amount of time there. He was there for an hour in a marshy, wooded area.
You can explain the circumstances, how you found the body, the time, and the details.
And so Mia was found, or what we believe to be the remains of Mia was found about 10:45 this morning in a wooded area in the area of Timberscan Apartments.
Exactly was it that led to her? Was it a dog that maybe had the scent? Was it someone who spotted something?
So it was members of the emergency response team as they were doing their walkthrough of that area, like you've seen us do in all of these 30 plus searches. They were walking and found what we believe to be her body. A purse with Mia's identification was found near the body as well.
Okay, so there it is. What Yanita was saying, that the purse was found. Her purse was found next to the body, which we're all assuming is hers. That's messed up.
So we're still looking for at least 2 cell phones and keys related to this case.
Have you reached out to her family at this point, and what's been their response? How are they holding up?
Yeah, so the family has been talking with detectives and victim advocates. Obviously, we're filling them in on everything that we have learned so far, and victim advocates are there to support them during this time until we have official notification, identification from the medical examiner's office.
Sure, there's been a lot of discussion about Caballero, but there's also been some discussion about whether he had any help. Is there anybody else right now that you are focusing on in terms of a person of interest?
So we are not looking for any other people. We believe pretty conclusively that Armando Caballero is responsible for this crime, and there is not any other person or persons that we are looking for in this case.
Very good. Sheriff, I know it's always hard to share that news with the family, but this family, their resolve has been relentless through all this. Talk to me about that phone call, that conversation, and you yourself made it personally.
So our detectives were the ones who notified the family. And I can tell you, I've spoken to the family. I've spoken to friends of the family on a constant basis this entire week, and so have our detectives. And yeah, their hope and their resolve was something short of amazing, and or nothing short of amazing. And our heart goes out to them. And I can't imagine what they're going through. Like I said earlier, we're all fathers here and mothers, and we're going to grieve with them as well. We didn't want this outcome. We wanted something different. Of course, the men and women of the Orange County Sheriff's Office worked so hard. And yesterday I was out in New Smyrna Beach with our emergency response.
I do have to applaud this sheriff's office because they really did have an immediate resolve, an immediate amount of outpouring of resources to find Miya. Like, That there is no taking that away from them, and I think they've been, from what I've seen, very compassionate about the entire situation, very helpful throughout the whole thing, and I appreciate that law enforcement has done that. So I have to
Team,
give
and
them their props.
there's deputies. They were covered in from head to toe in mud. Searching so hard to find her, hoping for a better outcome.
Any details of what exactly happened, the circumstances? Is there a chance that we never know what exactly happened to Mia?
No, I think we'll be able to piece together pretty good what happened because we know that he entered her apartment 4:30. We know that he was at Timber Scan Apartments now, where we believe she was found um, between 8 and 9 o'clock. Before we even responded to the scene. So obviously there's still an autopsy that needs to be done. So we'll be able to piece together, I think, exactly what happened. And I do think that he was trying to throw authorities off the trail by going all over the place, by going up to New Smyrna Beach, maybe in an effort to possibly get away with this before he took his own life.
The investigation they're doing, you can explain.
I'm sorry, one more time.
We're gonna get into this in a second, but I just saw Yanita commented and said, "I do as well, but I'm a little upset they questioned and let him go." From my understanding, it seems as though from the timeline that the police are giving us, it seems as though when they questioned him was before they had the information about the key fob, before they got any of that like that intel, which I would imagine, like, especially based on how the apartment complex put out this statement and stuff, I would imagine that they probably didn't, it probably takes a second to get that information back about the key fobs, and it probably took a second for the apartment complex to hand that information over. Um, so I'm gonna hope, and I truly believe that I think what happened was that they questioned him just as they questioned probably everybody else who lived there and worked there. Um, didn't really see any, apparent red flags, and then it wasn't until after the key fob finding out that they were like, "Oh, fuck, like, this the guy," you know? And so I just think that it was just where they were at with the investigation, and they were at the very beginning when they questioned him, and they didn't have the background information about him, continuously asking her out. They didn't have the information about, him being a suspect in, throwing a damn weight through somebody's window because they rejected him. They didn't have the information about the key fob. Um, so I think it was just circumstances and just bad timing, but I don't blame them for that. It's horrible that they had him, and they could have kept him, and they could have stopped him from doing that to himself in a sense. Um, hopefully, I mean, who knows? He might have been in police custody and he could have still done it. But like, there could have been a second chance, but I don't blame them. I think that it was just, you know, the timing with which the evidence was coming out. Um, Jenny just said, right, I understand. It's just upsetting. I know. I'm upset too. I'm really upset about this. And it's just awful. Ugh. I just have so many thoughts in my head, but I don't want to like derail it. All right, so let's hear what they're gonna do next because that is very important. It's something we were trying to figure out earlier in the conversation. Can this continue to be pursued? Is there any legal ramifications? Can this at least be taken to court so that it can be legally said, you know, we can have a legal verdict as to whether or not this person is guilty or not and close the case. Because I can't imagine being the family of the victim and this person killing themselves and all the evidence comes out, and let's say all the evidence comes out and it's completely obvious that this dude killed her, and just because he's dead, there's nothing. There's not even anything, and like I would want legally, black and white, this man killed my baby. Like that's what I would want. For it to forever go on down in the history books that this is what this person did. So I hope that there is something that they can do. So let's listen to this and see if they say, yes, we are pursuing, this is what's going to happen.
The next steps for the investigation, because
Right. So the next steps, obviously, will focus a lot on the autopsy and exactly what happened. And then again, we have a pretty good timeline. We think what has happened, but we're going to shore up that timeline to find out exactly what happened in this case. Yeah, so members of our emergency response team, they're specially trained to do these searches. So, like you've seen from some of our footage, they kind of line up at arm's length, and they do these large searches of these areas, and they walked up on her and found the body. Well, like I said, he had been all over Orange, Seminole, and Volusia County. So, as a matter of fact, there are several other places that we still have to search to locate evidence. So it's just a matter of searching all these different areas. It's still just Orange, Seminole, and Volusia County is the focus of our searches. Yeah, to my knowledge, yes. All right, thank you.
All right, so that's everything that Sheriff Mina had to say about that. So it looks like the investigation continues. They're still gonna. I have like a. Was it on my mouth? Sorry. The investigation continues. It looks like there has to be something that they can do. There has to be something because it's on another level for somebody to be potentially a murderer and for them to kill themselves. That shouldn't just end everything. You know what I mean? There's got to be something that happens next. Crystal says, I don't believe they can do anything in court. He's not here to assist in his defense. Unfortunately, I think this is a horrible loophole. He'll never have to take any responsibility for it. Yeah, it is a horrible loophole. I'm gonna research more about this, um, and maybe talk to some attorneys and see if I can get some more of a little bit more of an idea of if there's anything at all that can be done because I think that like in my opinion, um in my opinion, that person should be, even if there is no monetary gain, no, you can't get the day in court with him to look him in the face, um, and tell him that he's a monster, y- at least to have it somewhere in, police records saying that this man is a murderer. Um, I don't know. I'd be probably really hung up on that if that is the case. So there's nothing at all that they can do. Um, yeah, Anita was kind of speculating and was saying her having her purse with her makes me feel like A, maybe he just took it with him to make it look like she left, or B, she walked out with him, but I'm no investigator. Um, So I don't think that she walked out with him just based on the evidence that her room was a mess and there was blood. So I don't think that she just walked out with him. I think it's possible that maybe she walked in her house, she still had her stuff on her. You walk in the house, you're gonna have your purse on your arm. And if this is like a thing that he rushed her, then, you know, she could have been holding her purse when that happened and continue to have it. Um And that could be a case. It could be a case that he took it to make it make it look like something else. I'm just wondering, is there surveillance anywhere in that apartment complex? Is there anything that they can pull? Does anybody have a Ring doorbell? Some apartment complexes don't allow you to put anything on the door, and some of them do. Or do and don't allow you to put up security cameras and stuff like that because they're like hardwired in. But if somebody has a Ring doorbell, or something, surveillance somewhere of the parking lot maybe, or from across the street, or there's got to be something. I don't know. It's just messed up, but it could be that they who's if he is guilty, that he was trying to make it look like she willingly walked out with him. Crystal said, I agree that somewhere it should be written he is responsible for her death. Yeah. I don't know if that's something, if that's like a weird thing to be hung up on, but that's just what I'm hung up on. Um Crystal said someone had to see something. Yeah, I mean, I just wish that we could piece together what happened here. You know, did he maybe knock her out in some fashion? Well, then if that's the case, did nobody witness somebody dragging a body? Drag a body out of an apartment complex, if that's the case. She's gonna drag it out? You're gonna do the old rug trick? I don't understand. Um, 1 second, guys, sorry. Sorry, my husband texted me. What? Sorry. And he just said, right, Crystal, no one heard anything or saw anything suspicious. How do you take someone out in the evening? It was still kind of light out. Yeah, and if we're looking at this timeline fully, so he went into her apartment around 4. She gets off at 5, and he goes to the Timberwolf apartments where she is found at 8. And there is a 30-minute drive, shall we say, to be there at 8. So they had to have been in the car by 7:30. It was definitely still light out that whole time. And not like the sun was setting, like fully light out. Like getting later obviously, but like fully light out. How do you how? Again, was it the old rug trick? Put the body in the rug trick? Like how the fuck? Did he know a way of sneaking around? Was there a back stairs? Was there what the fuck? I don't understand. Um Crystal said in my grandma's time she knew everything and everyone in the neighborhood. Maybe that's the problem. No one pays attention to what is going around them anymore. I mean, that's true. Nobody pays attention anymore. Nobody does. It's like some people are hyper vigilant, and then a lot of people don't even notice anything. Um, I just wish, like, with the tech that we have nowadays, how did nobody in the apartment complex have a Ring doorbell? And if this apartment complex had high tech locks, like, that you have key fobs for, and probably pin, like, put your code in and stuff like that, why wouldn't they have a Ring doorbell already installed in these apartments? Because they were nice apartments, right? Or some kind of, at least some kind of security cameras in the hallways. I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh my god. When the family say where did they say that? I didn't obviously I've been streaming, so I haven't seen anything from the family. Yanita said the family is saying she was taken out the window, but like the aunt said, there is a parking back there. No one saw people climbing out a window. Wild. How would you even for what? For why? My question is, was she dead before she was taken out of that apartment? You know what I mean? Because how the fuck you gonna climb out a window with a whole ass dead body? Like, that sounds like a huge fucking feat. Or even if it's not dead, even if the person's just unconscious, how the fuck how are you gonna climb out a window with a whole ass body? Like, what? Crystal said maybe he just knew where all the cameras were. It's very possible. It's very possible he knew where they were, where all of them were, especially because he was maintenance. I mean, if you're maintenance, couldn't you just shut down the security cameras? I feel like that might be really simple for a maintenance person because they probably, if there are security cameras, they probably are the ones that have to maintain them. It's in the name. So it'd probably be really easy to turn them off and make it look like it was just, you know, a regular malfunction. Yanni just said that's my question as well. I don't understand it. And that's the problem is we're probably never gonna have answers. Again, it's Gabby Petito's case 2.0. We're probably never gonna have answers for any of this shit. And the families are probably never gonna have answers for any of this shit. And it's bull. It's such fucking bullshit. Yeah, thank you, Crystal. How do you climb out of how do you climb out of a window with a screaming alive woman or a dead body? It's insane. It's so crazy is what she said. I don't understand it. How do you do that? How is that possible? That don't sound and he wasn't a big dude. As a refresher. Dude wasn't huge. He wasn't a huge dude. Like this wasn't some buff guy. Oh, I love that. That's a good point. Let's see if they put his picture. Come on. I don't want to be on your mailing list. Thank you. Please show a photo of him. They're gonna show his photo or not? Oh, of course not. I don't want to share my location. Well, images. This is the dude. He's like an average build guy. He's not very much muscular. You know, he's just kind of average. I think it would be pretty fucking hard for this dude right here to be lugging a body out of a window. Just let alone lugging a body at all. Like that's a bitch and a half to lug somebody. Like not even seeing like a dead body, just like to have to lug somebody else around, whether that be because something happened to them and you're trying to get them somewhere or whatever. That's hard as fuck. Um, so I don't know how this man would have been able to do that. I mean anything is possible. Maybe he had a lot of adrenaline going and that's how, but it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and he just said, well, they're going through phone records. Let's see if there are any texts between them. I hope that they find something on his phone records or somewhere. Like, they find his phone and all his phone records, and they see some shit about him plotting about Yanira, about Miya, or saying some crazy shit, or they find something in his writing somewhere, maybe in his notes app, or maybe like written somewhere about him talking about Miya and just being very obsessive over her, or plotting something. I also hope that they find, for the sake of that other woman, the 24-year-old, they find evidence about that case, and that it was him that threw that goddamn weight through a window because she rejected him. Because I think that woman also deserves to have that closure. Crystal says no answers equals no closure. I think, like, yes and no. I think it depends on how people want to see it, and I think it depends on the resolve of the family. I think that they are, in this case, in not saying that they are lucky to that this happened at all, but I think that they are statistically lucky when this sort of thing happens, that there are a lot of times that nobody comes home, dead or alive, and they never find out, ever. Decades go by, and they don't ever see that person again, dead or alive. And so I think that they have the closure of knowing where she is, whether that's talking and walking around, or, in a cemetery. They know where she is. And I think that's a huge piece of closure that a lot of people don't get. Um, I also think that, you know, I think that in this case, based on the way that the police are speaking about it, I think that they are gonna get a lot of answers as to what happened. Um, they're not gonna get somebody, more than likely, they're not gonna get somebody saying, I did it, I'm guilty. They're definitely not gonna hear Caballero say it. Armando, you know. Um, but there is gonna be answers. It's just not gonna be in the form of somebody saying that they're guilty. But I think they're gonna have a lot more than a lot of families get. Obviously the situation is not good. This is a fucked up situation. It shouldn't happen. But at least that they are gonna have a lot of answers from police, and they have her physical body, and they're able to lay her to rest if they choose to bury her, or whatever their tradition might be, or whatever they want to do with her. But at least they know, their baby is home, and they can do and mourn properly, and have that closure. um Yanita said they'll be piecing everything together to get an idea of what really happened. The investigation isn't over. Yeah, they said all that, and I'm glad. I'm really glad. Crystal said closure is knowing where she is, but you would want to know all of the details of how your loved ones passed, and someone has to take responsibility. Yeah, I think that's the part that's gonna suck, is that they're not gonna have somebody that is gonna have to take responsibility for it. And again, I think that a lot of families, you know, that the one day that they look forward to the most after something horrible happens is sitting in court, hearing the guilty verdict, and being able to step up to the podium and completely decimate that person with their words when they give, their victim impact statement, I want to say. I know it's an impact statement. I don't remember if it's victim impact or, family impact statement, whatever it is. But when they give their impact statement, I think a lot of people look like that is their big moment that they wait for, and they don't get that. And all of it is fucked up. It should have never happened in the first place. And he just said we can't blame the apartments either. since they made a statement saying they did a background check on him. I just wonder if there were any complaints made on him. That made me wonder too because it seemed I'm not 100% sure because I have to double check the dates, but it almost seems as though they made that statement after it came out that that woman, like after it was made public to everybody regarding this case, that um that he was accused of throwing a weight through a woman's window because she rejected him. So it just feels like they were covering their butts, which of course they have to legally, it's in the best interest of a business, they have to do it. Um, but yeah, it's I obviously like the apartment complex didn't create like do the crime. But I hope that this all happened and they were not aware of any of it. They were never aware of the accusation of that woman at the other apartment complex. I hope that they were not aware, nobody came forward and complained about him, especially her. I hope that it was a situation where she just kept it to herself and that's what happens. As for the accountability of the apartment complex, if that's the case, if they just genuinely didn't know and they did the background check and it was clean and everything, then I definitely don't blame the apartment complex. But if they knew something and they didn't do anything about it, if somebody complained and they never checked into it and never did anything about it, that is a problem. That's a huge problem. Um, but anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap up here. We've been streaming for 2 hours and 7 minutes, which is crazy. I think that's been my longest one of my longest, if not my longest live stream so far that I've been doing. Like I said, I'm gonna keep covering Gabby's case. I'm gonna keep covering Mia's case 1,000% as to where the sheriff's office takes this case. I really hope that they take it all the way, whatever it's they gotta do. Um, and if you guys hear anything else about any other missing persons cases that you guys want me to cover, if you guys hear anything, let me know. I want to continue, shining a spotlight on more people's cases. So anything you hear about, especially anything Florida related, um, is a big thing for me just because I am from Florida, and so it makes it a little bit easier for me to give you guys a better understanding of the area and the layout and stuff like that. Let me know, and I will look into them and try my best to cover them. Um, but with that being said, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you, Crystal, for coming back. Thank you, Yanita, for coming in and talking with us. You gave us a lot of really good information, so I really appreciate it. Appreciate you coming out and talking with us. And I will see you guys in the next one. If you guys haven't already, make sure that you turn your notifications on so that you know when I stream again. All right, I will see you guys later. Stay safe, stay well. Bye, guys.